What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Prowler podcast, where, as always, raw, uncut, and authentic. Tonight we're diving into a story of pure resilience and proving elite talent has no division relation. The media loves to give big budget programs the highlights, but we highlight all the real grinders who make it against all the odds, as you've seen in all of our previous podcasts. Tonight our guest is a living testament to the grind, coming from a tiny high school right outside of Memphis, actually, where we're based, guys, without knowing if college ball was going to be even an option. He went on to break records and become Belhaven University in Jackson, Mississippi, first All-American. And then he beat the odds, also going to play AF1 arena football for the Nashville Cats. But before we get started tonight, guys, I'm going to turn it over to Carlton Brown, who is our guest tonight, and let him introduce himself a little bit, and then we'll dive into the discussion, guys.
Like you said, I'm Carlton. Came from a small, tiny school, North Point. I think I had a graduating class in the 90s. Like, we weren't big at all. But through just hard work, determination, got to college, had fun there, did crazy things I never thought I'd be able to do for real, and then just kept going from there. It was a blast. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat if I could.
No, that's awesome, man. And a lot of people don't realize that no matter what side your class is, you can always make it. Like, I graduated with 822 kids, and some of the best players I've seen come from the smaller programs where they can focus on themselves more and actually have hands-on coaching and hands-on teaching, in a way. And that's the best kind of program. So,
right.
Carlton, the first discussion tonight is the pure love for the game, which, a lot of people say that about the D3 level because there's no scholarships and no guarantees really associated with it, And in D3 football, like I just said, there's no athletic scholarships to be offered. There is academic ways to make it a full ride. But when you walked into Belhaven coming off a two-way high school background without knowing if college ball was even an option, what was the internal fire that kept you grinding every single day to become what you eventually became at Belhaven?
Oh, kind of like you said, just the love of the game. Like, I had no real intentions of playing college football. They just kind of came to the school one day and was like, hey, if you're pretty good at this. If you want to keep going, come on to Belhaven. I got to campus. I took a tour. I met some of the coaches, met some of the team, and just from my first visit down there, I just kind of fell in love. And it was just like, oh yeah, this is something I have to do. Not even that I want to do anymore. It's something that I got to do. So getting down there, being able to do that, just I don't know, the fire in me just kind of took off from there. It was never enough. Walking around the campus, seeing the field, seeing the stadium. We started with honestly a trash stadium that turned into something amazing by the time I was done playing there. Just being
used to have the cargo boxes up top as a press box.
The trailer park used to be crazy. But I mean, hey, it was ours. It was what we called home.
Yep.
When you got at home, you got to be at home. So we did what we did.
I tell everybody we had the trailer park, but we fit it because of Blaze as what I forget who it was, Coach Mouse. He always said, "What are we gonna do today? Blazers gonna blaze tonight."
We're just gonna blaze. What as Coach McCourt would always say, it's all about attitude, effort, execution. Them three things. That's everything. If you can't do one, you can't do the rest.
Yep. No, that's awesome. And a lot of people don't realize there's some D3 stadiums that are very impressive. I had the chance to go up to Wabash College up in Indiana not too long ago and attend a camp and also talk to some of the athletes and stuff. And, they have one of the premier D3 football atmospheres in the country. And it's honestly borderline better than some D1 schools. I don't know if you ever heard of Wabash, Carlton, but.
Well, I've never been, but I've heard a good about them. But you're talking about stadiums. My freshman year, I'm like you said, I'm brand new to this college stuff. I think it's like game 3 of the season. We go to Mary Hardin Baylor.
Yep.
So like walking out of the tunnel there, that was like really jaw dropping for real. And then even going to my 5th year, my grad year, first time the school made it to the playoffs. We go up to North Central and just walking around there, it was like, dang, okay. So this is what it looks like when they get the big guys, what they're really doing for real.
Yeah, no, that's what I tell people. There's D3 programs that are on another level at the very top, like Mary Hardin Baylor, Wabash, North Central, and several others, right? Mount Union even.
Whitewater, yeah. There's crazy stadiums out there. I forget what teams are played, but there's there's two teams in New York that they like play in Yankee Stadium and pack it out almost every year.
Yep. And that's what people don't realize is D3 has a lot of connections, and we've seen D3 players make it to the NFL level and ball out. We've
a couple going, yeah.
Correct. I mean, I don't know if you remember this story, but Javon Wims was a freshman, not a freshman. He was a transfer sophomore when I came to Belhaven, and then he made it to NFL. But he transferred to Georgia after the first year I played with him, and then he went on to play for the Chicago Bears. And that's just a testimony to you can make it if you want to.
I mean, yeah, even at my time in Belhaven, I mean, probably by I want to say it was my junior and sophomore year. We had a kid from the Jackson area, JC Kwasniewski. He was there for literally a year at Belhaven. This was his second year playing football. He played his senior year of high school football, and then came to Belhaven for his freshman year. Right after that, he transferred to LSU. So I mean, like there's dogs all over the place. D3 is just a label for real. That doesn't mean you can't play.
No, it doesn't. Hey, and it sometimes means a launching pad for you. So
no, literally, absolutely. Eli Webb? He, I want to say it was West Alabama or South Alabama one that he transferred to after his first year at Belhaven. Like, yeah, and then even then, like we had guys in my class. Cole, I know he was on your show at one point. He went to training camp with the Chargers. Yep. And then Boatman, he had a couple different interviews, a couple different invites to camps, I think, if I'm pretty sure, with different NFL teams as well.
Yep, no, exactly. I mean, if you can put the film together and you can put up good stats, especially in that American Southwest Conference that it used to be, you can play some ball. That was, what I tell people, it's not what it used to be, right? Mary Hardin Baylor's still in there, Hardin Simmons, but it's nowhere near what it used to be because the years we played in it, that conference was arguably better than some D2 conferences. It was actually probably more than half.
Well, no, the Mary Hardin Baylor, Hardin Simmons, they were quite frequently playing D2 FCS teams during that time period for real. But yeah, when I first came to Belhaven and learned about the conference, like they would always refer to it as the SEC of D3.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how ASC, like, yeah, everybody understood it was the ASC was that conference in the South, and then the Wisconsin conference. I forget what I think it's the WIAC, where Whitewater, River Falls, and all those teams play at. Like those were the two conferences. If you were in those conferences, yeah, you were a team for real, especially if you were winning them. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's for sure. But many people look at the D3 as a backup plan, and honestly, sometimes it can be, but it's actually one of the purest forms of football left, in my opinion. And what do you think shifted in your mindset when you realized D3 wasn't just another chance to put the pads on, actually, but was a platform where you could actually go rewrite program history, which you guys did, and also become Belhaven's first All-American?
I want to say that shifted my mind. Probably, I'm probably going to end up going back to that game a lot, but that first game at Mary Hardin Baylor, it was a game we were supposed to go down there and get absolutely blown out, and they were like at the time number one in the nation for D3. So like going in there and like going toe to toe with them for the most part, and then getting reps as a freshman in that game really kind of was like, okay, like you can do this for real. And then not only that, like going back to my tour of the campus, walking through the weight room, looking at the records on the board and everything, I really just see myself like, yeah, I can vividly remember talking to Coach Wood and Coach Gunn as I took my tour, pointing at the board like, yeah, my name's gonna be there. Like, yeah, you might as well go ahead and erase all those now because I'm gonna take over. So like that was kind of the starter point. And you had mentioned about the backup plan. Yeah, it is a lot of people's backup plans, but also like you said, it's that purest form. Some people are taking a step down because they'd rather get on the field at this school over here, at a school like Belhaven, than ride the bench at a JSU, at a Mississippi College, something like that. Yep. And then we said it a couple of times, like if you can play, you can play. It don't matter where you at. If you can play for real, they're gonna come find you.
And in my opinion, now Belhaven has, Mississippi College doesn't even have a football program anymore, but Belhaven has one of the most nicest venues for football in the Southeast, in my opinion. You do have West Florida just went up D1, so of course they got to upgrade. But, growing up here in Memphis, we know Rhodes College, right? Rhodes College got
Yeah.
a nice facility, but it's nothing to the amount of what
Yeah.
Belhaven is. Belhaven doesn't look like a high school stadium. Rhodes does. There's a different uniqueness to it. And Belhaven took a lot of consideration and went redeveloping that stadium and actually putting it on site, because now that stadium is in the middle of the campus with a huge parking garage behind it and everything that they built around it. And Coach McCorkle is kudos to this, but he completely transformed the college day atmosphere there, and that actually feels like a college day atmosphere with all the tailgating and stuff that takes place now.
100% from the ground up, like you said, the tailgating. I remember my first year. That was kind of unheard of. Like,
Yep.
Mostly because like the team wasn't necessarily the best at that time. But yeah. As the time went on, he started fighting for things like that. He started fighting for the parking garage. He was like, yeah, we need to build a parking garage because you see the stadium we just built, this beautiful stadium. We finna pack it out every weekend. These people need somewhere to park. So yeah, put the parking garage right beside the stadium. Absolutely. He, like you said, he's a testament to a lot of that stuff. He definitely paved the way for a lot of that stuff to come. And I feel like as an athlete further on the team, like seeing him go as hard as he did to get us those kind of things, it kind of made us want to go harder on the field for him, because it was like, well, we're getting all this new stuff. We're moving out the trailer park. We're getting a brand new stadium. We're getting a parking garage built so people can come see us play. But we can't be trash on the field. Like we gotta do what we gotta do. Like
I think
absolutely.
I think one of the biggest things for me was when he came in, as the first thing he did, our locker room. I don't know if you came and saw it, but before he even got there, it was concrete floors and just it looked like a high school locker room, right?
Yeah.
And he came in, he transformed it, put carpet down with a Belhaven emblem, TVs, couches, and that made him feel like more of a college atmosphere. Yeah, it was not an elite locker room like what we had at Mary Hunter Baylor, even in the guest locker room,
right.
But it was to the level that, hey, this is something to be proudful for, and that I think that's a testimony to what he's even going to try to bring in Northwestern State, because Northwestern State was a very similar situation to Belhaven. They were not very proudful in football, and I think this year is going to be a turnaround for him down there, and I wish him the best. And I had him on the podcast too about over a year ago, and he's an awesome guy. I mean, yeah, he means business. He's by the book, but if you play good for him, he will always have your back, because guess what, Carl? I don't think you know the story, but I work at FedEx still, and in the cybersecurity department, and that's also the main reason, I relocated back to Memphis, and the guy that interviewed me was college roommates with Blaine McCorkle at LSU.
No, that's insane.
That's insane, right? And
the first person to tell you that, like, football will follow you everywhere. You'll never know who you meet, where you'll meet him. I remember him telling a story about how he was in Virginia or somewhere at a wedding somewhere up north wearing a Belhaven pin, and somebody stopped him and was like, "Hey, aren't you the coach for Belhaven?"
Yep.
And I honestly want to say it was crazy for me the first time it happened to me. I was flying from Denver back to Mississippi, and the guy stopped me in the airport and was like, "Belhaven, that's in Jackson, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, I live in Brandon. That's not too far from me. We go out there all the time and catch a game or two." So like I won't say that I didn't believe him when he said that, but like seeing it in action, seeing it in person, it really was kind of like a wow, okay, he might be on something for real.
Yeah, no, it is. And the guy even told me, he was like, if he didn't have a good thing to say about you, I wouldn't have hired you. And I was like, oh, I'm glad he did have something good to say about me. That's a good thing, right? But it's crazy. And that, this is kind of off script, but that's what I tell all athletes that I help with and try to mentor nowadays, especially out of the Memphis area, because they don't have much mentorship, is never close the door, because no matter what, if they're at the NAIA level, D3, JUCO, they could be the next big D1 coach. And if you shut that door on them, they will keep that taste in their mouth for the rest of their career. And if they do go to the D1 level, which we just seen, I don't know if you know Bethel University in Jackson.
Yeah.
Their head coach just went and became a D1 coach 2 years ago at Stetson University down in Florida. It happens like that. Exactly. I mean, Coach McCorkle is a prime example. He went from Belhaven to D1.
Like that.
Yes. So
I don't know. It was a real shocker for us when he told us, but I'm not gonna lie. When he told us, I could lit up with. I was just so happy for him, because I was like, yeah, it's a testament to what he did at Belhaven, what he helped build, and it was like, yeah. So he's definitely going to go down there and do even better. Bigger and
Yeah,
better.
well deserved, and I fully believe I'll see him on the Power Four level one day. I don't know if he'll be a Alabama school, but he'll be up there in the ACC or somewhere because
if it's not Alabama, he'll turn it into one.
Yeah, no, he is that built, and he is. Whenever he gets his mind on something, you can see it in his vision. He's going to complete what he wanted to come start. So,
100%.
But jumping to the next topic, Carlton, is kind of breaking the mold and forcing the pros to notice. In which Coach McCorkle is a testimony to this at D3 level. He did this in a prime example with you and Cole and several other athletes right down there. But the jump from a small D3 school to playing professional, which is the Nashville Cats for the AF1. That's correct, right? AF1?
Yeah, AF1.
But you in a tiny fraction of 1% of athletes that make it to the pro level, no matter what level it is. What is the biggest misconception you think for D1 or mainstream fans have about D3 talent?
I'd say they're seeing D3 guys as a lot of sloppy, lesser athletes. But and we kind of talked about it earlier. I think they get fixated on the D3 name of it. They're like, oh, if you were really a dog like that, if you're really that good of an athlete, you wouldn't be at Belhaven. You would be at Jackson State. You would be at Mississippi State, Ole Miss, one of those big D1 schools.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like one thing I got to do with the Cats, we were kind of talking about this earlier. We got to my first year up here in Nashville. We got to go to the high school that won state championship up here, and talking with the kids there, they're all the seniors and juniors. I won't say they were depressed, but they were kind of a little down that they didn't have any scholarships, any offers, any schools looking at them. And when I could see them like that, it would really light me up because I could pull my teammates from the side, like, hey, this guy went to West Virginia. Hey, this guy played at Tennessee. This guy had times with the Brown. I played with one guy, Rod Perry. He spent time with the Seahawks and the Browns, and like I'm still managing to play with them. So I mean, if I've got the talent coming from a D3 school, like you can't just sleep on D3 because it's D3. Like obviously, like we've said it before, if you got that talent, they're gonna come find you. So a school is just somewhere for you to go play, somewhere you can go get an education, which in D3, that's always gonna come first.
No, exactly. And what I tell players nowadays, because transfer portal is a big thing nowadays, right?
Every day it's live, man. Every day
every day it's moving, right? Which shout out to the SEC for blocking off the pro level.
Did that.
Yeah, Big Ten started the trend, and then SEC followed, which I'm glad because, of course, Lane Kiffin is going to try to break the barrier as always. Which can someone just lock him up in a cage?
NFL guys, if he can.
But it's crazy because I hear so many coaches that I've had on the podcast. I've had a numerous of D1 coaches, and they said they'd rather look at a D3 athlete over a D2 or even a JUCO athlete. And the reason they said this, and this is on the previous podcast, one of the prime examples, Coach Matt Rule at Presbyterian College, which is FCS school up in South Carolina. But if you go listen to what he said, he pretty much said that if you look at a D3 athlete and for the transfer reasons nowadays, they're playing for the right reasons. They're not getting paid. They're not getting much of anything. They're playing with all heart. And he said that's the type of
pay out of go to school.
Yep, and that's the type of guy you want in your program because once he gets up there, he said they're typically the most hardworking athletes that you'll get because they've never been given anything like you're going to get at the FCS, FBS level. So I thought it was pretty cool to hear, especially for any athlete that's hearing this or will hear this. It's not all about where you go; it's where you end up at, honestly. And Carlton's a testimony of that, guys. So, but Carlton, to leave the main podcast topic is this, and I think this is a heavy hitter conversation. Let's go for sitting in the 901 right now because we know the 901 gets often overlooked in a lot of areas. You play both sides of the ball, you're kind of overlooked and kind of wondering about your own future. But what do you say is a blueprint for turning your small school opportunity into not only a record breaking, but also reaching the pro level reality?
That's kind of a hard question, but it's just that grind. It's like once you see that path, you just gotta keep following it. I'll be honest with you, there were several times where where I was ready to walk away and just be done with football, just for whatever reason may be. There's 2 or 3 times like that. But you just got to put your head down and you got to stick with it. And once you get in that groove, I want to say like it was like literally right after I was in that mood where I wanted to quit, wanted to play, that I had that All-American season where I was having games, breaking the sack record and the tackle for loss record in the same games. And it was like kind of those moments that was like, okay, you got to remember who you are. You got to remember what you do. You got to remember what you're here to do. You're not here to just be here. Like you're here for a reason. So you got to. And we talked about that in one of our chapels before a game one time. I want to say it was actually a chapel that Boatman led, and it'll always stick with me. His main topic was remember your why. Remember why you're here. Remember why you're doing it. Remember why. And that's once you remember your why, if you don't forget your why, like it speaks for itself. That's going to lead you to everywhere you got to be.
You know, that's for sure. And I mean, I think that why kind of came from Coach McCorkle in a way too, because I remember Coach McCorkle saying that the very first team meeting we ever had, he would say, "You're gonna remember this. We're gonna make it where is what is your why to what you want to do in your life." And I think that it speaks volume because your cleats are going to hang up one day, but if you carry the motto of what you're going to do each day, you will build a work ethic that is beyond what you can build anywhere else, no matter what affiliation you are, and it carries with you for life. And that's why a lot of college athletes don't believe this, but once you get done with college sports, a lot of corporations will look at you differently because you were on such a strict routine through college, and
Absolutely.
you stuck with it, and graduated with a degree, and it makes you stick out beyond a guy from, let's say, Jackson State with the same degree as you, but didn't play football or basketball or anything else. You stuck to the same routine for so long, for 5 years, and
They
it sticks
absolutely
out.
that discipline. They love to see that structure, that focus in you, because it's no matter what sport it is, it's not something easy to do to spend 4 or 5 years waking up at 5 a.m. for workouts or practice or meetings, whatever it may be. So you being able to do that, yeah, they're ready to jump on top of that heavily. Like this guy, this girl, whoever it may be, like they've got that attitude. They're bringing something to the table. It's not us taking a chance. It's like, yeah, we know what they can do. They're verified. They've proven it.
Yep. But Carlton, we're going to leave tonight's discussion at this, and I think this will be another good question is, for any young athletes who look at the arena or indoor football league as anything less than a true professional destination, how would you describe the speed, physicality, and raw talent level in those locker rooms? I mean, you kind of already hit on it, how you play with guys that played at the Browns and the Seahawks and also played at West Virginia, Tennessee, and all these D1 schools. But why should making an AF1 roster be respected as a legitimate professional achievement? Because, a lot of athletes look at that and look down if they do get the opportunity.
If you ask me, and if you ask a lot of the guys that play in these leagues, the IFL, the AFL, the F1, all these different kind of arena leagues, like, don't get me wrong, they definitely have their differences. But a lot of them, like previously mentioned, a lot of them are guys who spent time in the league, who spent time in the UFL. And a lot of they might not consider it the same as the UFL, but it's still plenty of options to make it to that next level, to which could be the UFL, the CFL, the NFL. But my first year playing with the Cats, like I can remember us being at the airport when a guy got a call from his agent and he was telling him he had a mini camp invite to an NFL team. So I was like, just being there is like, okay, that's proof that it can be done right there. Coming from the AFL, AF1, going straight to the league. It's plenty of guys from different teams who have been able to do it. So I don't just because it's different. 8-man football, 50-yard field, like it doesn't mean it's not still what it is for real. And yeah, that shorter field, it really shows you who the real athletes are, because it's going, it's moving, it's fast, and they're still hidden like it's outside. And them walls don't protect you that much either. Them walls are what they tell you all the time. The sideline is an extra defender. Those walls are really an extra defender. Yeah, you don't really want to run into that thing too hard.
That's funny.
Coming out of college, I played defense. I played both ways in high school. I played defense in college. getting to the AF1, I won't lie, it really showed me how much more I love defense than playing offense. I love playing offense. I love scoring the touchdowns, setting the crowd off, doing all that stuff. But yeah, defense is a lot different. Offense is a lot different. It'll show you real quick what it is and what it's not.
Yep.
Like I
No,
said,
it is.
that talent's there too. So it's not like you're playing patty cake. Like those guys are trying to make it to the league the same way you are. So like, yeah, it's coming for real.
No, that's awesome. And, a lot of people don't realize that. And some of the best football, people don't sleep on it, but is going to watch the leagues that you guys play in. When Memphis had the Memphis Showboats in the UFL for, this last year was the last year they had, but it was really good because you could tell those guys were fighting to put on good film quality to get that mini camp invite. And that's where you see the most guys, put their best foot forward, because I can't lie. You watch the NFL nowadays. Yeah, you got Derrick Henry, who's been a workhorse and has played a lot of years, but there's a lot of guys that they milk injuries because they want to play longer, and that you don't get to see them at the highest potential for a long time is because they're trying to milk it to where their career lasts longer,
Well, not even that. A lot of those guys, you mess around, you sign a $3 million guaranteed contract. It's like, okay, well, it's not even necessarily that I just want to milk it, but like, yeah, I'm not gonna do the most because I've already got this money guaranteed. I'm gonna do enough to keep this contract, to keep another one coming after this one expires. But I don't. Some guys, it's like they lose that go get it attitude because they already got it. So it's like,
Yep.
why am I fighting so hard to go get it when I've already got it? Compared to those guys like you mentioned in the UFL who they're trying to make it to the league, the guys in the arena leagues, they're trying to get back up there. So yeah, they're going to give 100%, 110%, 120% every snap because they got to show that they belong up there. They got to prove it. They got to get there. So they got that go get attitude for real.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And that's that's that chip on your shoulder, because you haven't made it there quite yet. And it's quite entertaining for sure, guys. And like I said earlier, it's a different mindset. But Carlton, we're gonna leave it with this, and then I'll slowly close it up tonight. But it's our podcast poll question that we always ask, and it's on our YouTube channel. If anybody wants to tap in, it's specifically for D3 athletes. So any D3 athletes that listens to this or comes across it, for sure tap into this vote. But Carlton, when you step on a D3 campus, what was your primary goal of your athletic journey for your career at Belhaven? Was it a launch pad to the pros ultimately, or was it just a leadership blueprint, or was it pure passion and legacy that you wanted to build? Or was it just a second chance to rewrite the story that you want to rewrite for yourself?
Honestly, I won't lie to you. Depending on where in my time at Belhaven you asked me that question, the answer would change. When I first got there, like I said, I really had no intentions of playing in college. So being able to come there and go play, like I said, my freshman year, go play in those big games, it really was a second chance to rewrite the story. But then as the time goes on, I told you there were a few times where I wanted to leave. I didn't want to play football anymore. It was like, okay, I would have those games that remind me about that pure passion and legacy I could leave behind. I'd have those record-breaking games. I had that All-American season. So it was like, yeah, okay, we're really finna do this. So I can say I was the best one to come through because everyone can't say that everywhere they go. And honestly, I will say that now at Belhaven. Like I might have been the first All-American, but on the team I played with, there's plenty of guys that'll have a better argument for being the best guy on the team. And then going in those later years of my college career, you really could see it as a launch pad to the pros, especially going into my last couple years when we did have those scouts coming through, going to those different counts. I went to the Dream Bowl. I went to another one. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I went to a couple of those like pro day style events in Texas, and it was like, okay, so yeah, this is definitely like a stepping stone. And from there, AF1 pros. So like I said, it just depends on where when you ask me that question is where I'd answer it. So like right now seeing it, I guess looking at it a whole, I kind of would answer it as a second chance to rewrite the story. Going back to just because that's where it all started, those early years. not really being looked at to play for real, not even really thinking there was a chance to play for real. They're getting that chance. It was like, okay, let's show the world what they were missing out on.
Yep. No, that's awesome. And, you know, a lot of people don't get that second chance to rewrite the story. And a lot of players do, but they cut the door off because they didn't get that D2 attention or even D1 attention that they thought they would get. And I tell athletes all the time, you never know where your story could end, which kind of goes into our podcast quote tonight, but you never know where your story can end if you never start it. And I think that speaks volume, you know, because some of the best stories came from the smallest schools. You know, I tell people this all the time. Go look at Josh Allen's story for the Buffalo Bills. He didn't start off as a D1 athlete. Didn't even start off as a JUCO offer commit. He was a walk-on to Ridley College in California and was able to earn one D1 scholarship to Wyoming, and the whole story rewrote itself after that.
What, take it one step farther, even from the player's perspective, as a coaching perspective. Not only did we have Coach McCorkle that went from Belhaven to Northwestern going D1. Coach Gunn, he's the guy that recruited me. He was there my first year, and then the very next year he got called up to Wake Forest. The year after that, he got called up to the Bills. We had another coach, Alvin Vaughn. He got called up to. He went and did like an internship or something with the Bills, and they were so impressed, so in love with him. They were like, "Yeah, you might as well just stay up here. Worry about going back."
And you know, you say Coach Vaughn. Most people don't realize Coach Vaughn played 5 years at Belhaven when they were an NAIA school.
Yeah, even that NAIA athlete. Yeah. From what some would really consider the bottom, like some would consider higher than NAIA.
Yep.
And so like he was one of those guys. He went and set a bunch of records. He went and played. He went and made sure his name got known. And like I said at the beginning, if you can play, they're gonna come find you. So like he really wrote his name in the history books for sure. And well, that got him.
Yeah, exactly. He's on the Buffalo Bills staff, and who knows? He might get a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. I'm saying the Buffalo Bills are going to be there one day, but
yeah, he get one. I'm gonna have to go ahead and take that ring. Him and Coach Gunn both gonna have to send that ring on down.
No, that'll be funny. That'll be funny. But kudos to those guys, because those guys, everybody that's came out of Belhaven that I can recall as a coach is doing something very impactful. It's still to this day, and I think that's a testimony to what Coach McCorkle will become as a coach. You know, he is a true testimony to how coaches can transform athletes. I call him the mini Nick Saban because his coaching tree is already very large. And if people don't know that, go look at where the coaches he had at Belhaven his first year are at now. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, no, they're all over the place. What he's, like I said, we got the two at the Bills. I want to say Coach Lucky, he was there with us. I want to say he left and went to a different school, and I want to say he might have been a head coach. I think when he left Belhaven, if he wasn't a head coach, he went to be an offensive line coach somewhere else. But there's not a single coach that I can think of from my time at Belhaven that didn't somehow make it on to bigger and better things.
Yep. I mean, a prime example is Jordan McNeil. I think he was there your first year, right?
Absolutely.
He went to UTEP the next year, and now he's the offense coordinator for Texas A&M Texarkana, who will be in their first D2 season next year. And, you know, there's another story, you know, is he came from East Texas Baptist, a small D3 school in Texas, and now he's going to be probably rising up the ranks the next few years. And it's just another story out of Coach McCorkle's story that keeps growing. So,
I mean, even the players that have came under Coach McCorkle, whether it's on the field kind of stuff, because there's plenty of guys. There's a handful of guys he took to Northwestern with them, and he brought on the coaching staff there. There's a bunch of guys that started after him and his crew left that took over the Belhaven staff, and they kept that program. He set the standard, and they're doing nothing but raising the bar, pushing it farther and farther higher.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and they're actually looking pretty promising this year. They kick off their season. Is it tomorrow night or Friday?
Yeah, Riverside Rumble, baby.
Yeah, tomorrow night. So we're gonna have to, if nobody knows the Riverside Rumble, Coach McCorkle invented the sword that they share. By the way, guys, so that's another tradition he invented, and it'll be a good game tomorrow night. Even though Millsaps is nowhere near what they used to be when we played them. Carlson.
Yeah, they wish they were back there.
Yeah, they wish. But, Carlton, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. And the podcast quote I always do, guys, but this one speaks volume to what we kind of talked about tonight. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. Always believe in yourself, even when no one else does. And that's a testimony to what Carlton Brown's journey was tonight, guys. And Kurt Warner said that. Kurt Warner was overlooked oftentimes a lot, but he came out as a Super Bowl champ from the Arizona Cardinals and went on to be a great quarterback for the St. Louis Rams as well. But Carlton, before I finish it up tonight, you got any last comments you want to give any current high school recruits that are kind of scrambling for their life of what they think they should do next?
We've kind of talked about it a lot. Like, just because it's D3 NAIA doesn't mean it's not real football. If anything, it's more real. It's not people chasing a check. It's people chasing a dream. They're trying to get to where the other people are. They got that go-getter attitude that we talked about. So just because those big names, those Tennessees, those Ole Misses, those LSUs aren't calling you, don't lose hope. Like, there's always, where there's a will, there's a way. And everything happens for a reason. So getting that D3 offer, that could lead. Like I said, I had a teammate who was at Belhaven for 1 year, played D3 football for 1 year. Next thing you know, he's in the SEC. So, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. Don't lose hope just because LSU's not calling you on day one.
Yep. I mean, and it's also, a testimony to how you carry yourself to that program, because I've seen a lot of guys come into Belhaven, especially before Coach McCorkle was there, and they carry themselves as, I'm better than this team. I should not be here. And they show it, right? And it's clear as day. And that's not the way you get up to the next level. If you truly want a chance, go out there and be a dog and produce film.
And then adding on top of that, for college athletes looking at pros, for the same mentality going into arena ball. Like, if you go in there thinking you're better than the league, you're better than that, the guys in that league will humble you real quick, because those are guys who've got that go-getter attitude. They're trying to get back up there. They're trying to get there. So if you go in there just thinking it's going to be a piece of cake walking apart, I promise you they got a different thing coming for you. So you might want to change that mentality real quick.
No, that's for sure. Well, that's awesome, Carlton. Thank you for coming again tonight. Guys, that's another wrap for another powerhouse of an episode. And like I said, guys, earlier, we do this every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and shine light on untold story, just like Carlton Brown, who showed us tonight what happens when your relentless drive and unshakable work ethic collide with destiny. From a tiny school here in Memphis, Tennessee, to Belhaven's first All-American. Like I said earlier, guys, it's proven fact that elite greatness can find anywhere, no matter what the division is. And as always, guys, the Prowler highlights the gold instead of the dirt. We give the next generation the ultimate blueprint to win against all the odds. So keep tuning in, guys. Subscribe and hit that notification bell where you can hear the Prowler up every time, guys, because that's all we do here. And we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely.